Chapter 25. Secrets of the Vatican. Religions at their core are an inversion of everything they are supposed to stand for. They are supposed to follow the word of God when they actually follow the word of books ablaze with contradictions and inconsistencies, which mean they have to be interpreted by church leaders. This is a quote by David Icke. According to HistoryNorbit.com, the Vatican secret archives contain 53 miles of shelving containing around 35,000 volumes of work, and only qualified scholars can apply for an entry card to get into the site, and they still need an introductory letter from a recognized institute of research. This is to only get into the Vatican Library, which is separate from the secret archives. The Vatican Library is adjacent to the museum at the northern boundary of Vatican City. The archives have their own website, which is operated by the Vatican, and states that the documents housed inside pertain to boring matters such as papal expenditure accounts, state correspondence, individual correspondence, etc. But why would an institution feel the need to keep documents secret? Are they afraid of what could happen if the general public learnt of the secrets contained therein? Of course they are, and there are some interesting theories that, if proved to be true, would bring their house of cards crashing down along with their control of the world, gone forever. Some theories include that they have documentation of the Jesus bloodline, historical proof of the existence of Jesus, historical proof that Jesus did not exist, depictions of Jesus, etc. The Church has been accused of hiding biblical relics and documentation of them and the whereabouts of them, including the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, the True Cross, the Truth of the Shroud of Turin, and others. Not even cardinals are allowed into the archives. Anyone who wishes to see a specific document from the archives must ask in advance, and thus must know in advance if such documents even exist. There are only 4 people on earth that have had access to the archives, and they are Cardinal Rafael Farina, Jorge Maria Mejia, Luigi Poggi, and Prefect of the Secret Archives Sergio Pagano. There's only one entrance to the archives in the Vatican. Swiss guards patrol this entrance at all times. The secret archives were formally established in 1475 but are much older. In Sylvia Browne's book entitled Secret Societies and How They Affect Our Lives Today, her spirit guide named Francine gives away some interesting information. She stated that the Vatican had hidden many books that should have been in the Bible and that they were never to be released to the public. Author Michael Bagent, author of the Jesus Papers and co-author of Holy Blood, Holy Grail and the Messianic Legacy, confirms this information to be true. Her guide, Francine, stated that the Christian Bible didn't settle into its final form for at least 300 years, until the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. She also states that the Vatican is hiding proof about Jesus surviving the crucifixion. Francine was supposed to have said this in 1977, and also said that Jesus told Jewish rabbis after the crucifixion that he was still alive. She also says that he lived close to 90 years of age in France. More interesting information can be found in her book, but Sylvia also says that many Jesuits have told her in her past that they thought that Jesus had survived but they had to keep it quiet. She also says in her book that author Taylor Caldwell agreed to go under hypnosis for Jess Stern's book entitled The Search for a Soul, Taylor Caldwell's Psychic Lives. In it, her spirit guide named Arios brought back so much information that the Vatican contacted Taylor Caldwell to ask who had been spying inside the Vatican walls. Henry Charles Lear studied the Inquisition in 1888. It was entitled A History of the Inquisition of the Middle Ages. Lear said that even in his time, the Vatican authorities were already beginning secretly to destroy most of the damning records. The Inquisition was the worst Holocaust in European history. It lasted nearly 500 years, and yet the Church was succeeding in misrepresenting its extent and its impact in their official histories. This was my earliest realization of patriarchy's propensity to lie itself into respectability. Martin Douter, a researcher from New Zealand, said similar. We're deluding ourselves if we think we live in some kind of bright new age of enlightenment and that the Dark Ages passed into memory centuries ago. The power base that ran the Inquisition was never dismantled and remains more strongly in place today than ever, controlling, directing, misleading, deceiving, suppressing, propagandizing, warmongering, persecuting, dominating and exploiting, etc. William Cooper writes in Behold the Pale Horse that the Vatican has been infiltrated over many years by the Illuminati and refers us to a book by Piers Compton named The Broken Cross, where it is documented. He found that the use of the all-seeing eye was being more commonly used, and one example was on a special issue of Vatican stamps in 1978, announcing the final Illuminati victory to the world. He claims that there are hundreds of priests, bishops and cardinals that are members of secret societies. Cooper comments that the best indication of infiltration was proven in November 1983, when the Pope retracted all of the papal bulls against Freemasonry, which allowed Catholics to once again become members of secret societies without fear of excommunication. This was an Illuminati goal to elect one of their own to the papacy.